Hi guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. In today's video with you guys, I'm going to be talking about something that I get asked a lot, and that is, what do you do for a living? What do I do for a living? I don't know. If you want to find out, then you got to keep on watching, and do not forget to subscribe. You got to subscribe, okay? All right, so let's get into it, you guys. I'm gonna give as much detail as I can about what I do without giving too much away, because I realized when I was writing down my notes for this video that if I explain in detail what my company does, it is very easy to Google, so because we're very specific. So I'm gonna be a little vague, but try and give you guys as much detail as I can. What I can tell you guys is I'm a legal assistant. So basically what that means is I assist the attorneys that I work with, and I work with 4 of them. So that's kind of my team, and there's 3 legal assistants in my company, and each one of us has 4. My organization is a nonprofit organization. We do pro bono legal services, which means that we offer legal services to people who can't afford an attorney, and it's all free of charge. And the way that we do that is we partner up with the top firms in New York City. A lot of them you can find on AmLaw 100. I think it's AmLaw 100 or AmLaw 100 and the Vault 100. So those are the firms that we work with, because a lot of their associates that they recently hired need pro bono hours. It's kind of like a cool partnership. You know, we need people to represent our clients, and they need their pro bono hours. So we marry those 2 things together, and we get our clients quality representation for their cases. The areas of law that we deal with are family law, matrimonial law, and immigration law. So if you are not familiar with it, which I don't claim to be an expert, I'm just, I've been working there for a year, so I can tell you what those areas look like. So family law cases that we deal with can be anything from custody visitation to a modification petition to an order of protection, things like that. Support, child support, spouse support, things like that. And then matrimonial obviously is divorces, litigated divorces, and non-litigated divorces or uncontested divorces. In the immigration world, which is a crazy world right now, we specifically only deal with a few immigration petitions. We don't do the whole wide range of them, just because we are a very small organization in comparison to other New York City agencies. So we kind of specialize in specific kinds of immigration petitions. So that is what my organization does. And then what I do specifically as a legal assistant, as I said, I support for a team of 4 attorneys, and the range of what I do on a day-to-day basis is very wide. I do a wide range of things. So I do a lot of administrative things, so like keeping files up to date or following up with clients, booking clients, calendar invites, all of those things. But then I also do some substantive things like putting together petitions, drafting petitions. If I want to volunteer for something, that's a really great perk that I have at this organization. They're very open to teaching, and there's a lot of learning opportunities. So I've done some legal paperwork by myself, obviously, and then had it supervised by an attorney. So I've had a lot of great experiences with that, which were a big part of helping me make my decision that law school was the right path for me, because it just felt so right, and I felt like I was in the right place at the right time. So that's been fun. I also a big part of my job is doing client intakes and new client calls. The way that clients get to a nonprofit organization is that there has to be some sort of intake process. So they usually have some type of intake process. They have a hotline number that people can call. They have a website that tells people what services they offer. and people usually call in. They have a designated day that they operate the hotline. Some places operate the hotline every day of the week from 9 to 5. Other places do Monday through Thursday or whatever. We specifically do one specific day out of the week, and we do 3 hours worth of helpline, which it can be very, very crazy. Very crazy, if I do say so myself. There was one point in the year where we were logging like over 200 calls. And as I said, we're a small organization, so the amount of people that do the intake and actually operate the hotline, I would say is about 7 to 8 people, if we're lucky. So imagine 7 to 8 people fielding more than 200 calls on one day. So it's pretty crazy, but it's also a really rewarding experience. So that's what I do, you guys. Honestly, I could go on forever and ever, but we'll be here forever and ever. I do want to get into the overlap of law school and my job, because for the most part, those are the questions that I get on social media or in my comment section of like, did you take a gap year? What do you do? How did you get a legal job with little experience? So the number one question that I get regarding my job, people always want to know, how did you get the job? Because oftentimes when you're in college, you don't necessarily have legal experience on your resume, and a lot of jobs in the legal industry require some sort of experience. So it can be very difficult, especially if you know that you're going to take a gap year to study for the LSAT or whatever reason, but you want to have like a part-time job or maybe a full-time job in the legal world because you want it on your resume for your application. It can be really, really frustrating because you can hear a lot of no's before you hear a yes. And I would say that try as early as possible to get internships. So this is difficult because you kind of have to know beforehand that you want to go to law school in order to start building your resume. And for me, the moment I knew that law school was in the realm of possibilities, I decided I want to get an internship just to see, like, let me see if this is where I feel comfortable, if this is an option for me. My first introduction into the legal world and having a legal industry job slash internship was, I want to say in 2015 to 2016. I went on LinkedIn and I was looking for, law firms. At first I was just looking, and then what really prompted me was switching my major. I switched my major, I think, before spring break of my sophomore year. I switched my major to political science, and I downgraded my business major to a minor. I switched my business major to poli-sci, and then I moved all of my economics classes to a minor because I had really good grades in those classes and I didn't want to waste them, so why not? Then I just started submitting my resume via LinkedIn to a lot of law firms in the city because I went to college in the city and I knew that I wanted something in the city so that I could commute from my class to the internship and back and forth. So funny enough, there were not a lot of internships. There were a lot of part-time jobs for, mail person or clerk or assistant or whatever. I was just applying. I was just submitting my stuff through LinkedIn, and then I got a call from a place, and that's how I got my first part-time job at a firm. They were in the city. They were really close to my school campus, which was really great. It was a blessing, and I really loved it, you guys. It was a boutique law firm. I loved my supervisor. I will say she ran a tight ship. That was the first time I really had structure at a job, and I understood like responsibility and clocking in, clocking out, all of those different types of things. And she was hard on me sometimes, but I actually, like, thinking back on it now, I thank her for that because I think it informed my work ethic, and that's why I'm so like super uber organized now at my job because I remember her. So, and I stayed at that specific boutique law firm, I think, for almost 3 years. I learned a lot during my time at this job. I met some really great people and I was exposed to a lot. And they would tell me so many tips and talk to me about the different areas of law. They specifically did plaintiff injury, I believe. I think they actually did both. I think they did plaintiff side and defendant side, like personal injury and insurance subrogation claims, which I still don't know what that means all these years later, but my school is known for business and theater and dance, and they had so many great career opportunities and career services for those majors, but we felt neglected. Like, I had never once gone to a career services event because they just didn't have anything for my major. And it was really, it was really frustrating to us because we had to, go outside of our school, network, do LinkedIn, Indeed, all of this. And it was just so much harder because we were not only competing with students, but we were competing with people with experience. So after we had that meeting with them, they organized a career services event for our college within the university. And that is how I landed my current job. And before I got the full-time job, I landed the internship from that career services event. So for all of you guys who ask me, how did you, find it? What did you do? There's really no uniform answer, you guys. And I wish I could give you a cookie cutter answer, but there is no answer. If you are in college and you are thinking about law school, start now. Look at your career services, see what they offer. If they don't offer something that you feel that they should, talk to them. Be like, hey, why do you offer so many career services events for certain majors, but for our major, there's only one a year or there is none? You're paying your tuition. They should be helping you with job placement. That's just what it is. Look at your LinkedIn because you never know. You never know. That's how I got my first ever job. And I truly believe that that's what opened the door for this internship, later full-time job. And I didn't do much at that first legal job. I was basically a glorified mail person. Of course, through the years, I inserted myself, and as they trusted me, I took on more things. But to be quite honest with you, I was a glorified mail person. So you never know. All right, so on to the next question that I get about this. And that is, how long should you work for before you go to law school? And a lot of people who take gap years ask me this because, it's just a normal question to ask. It really depends on the whole application, okay? There's not one part of the application that's going to make them be like, oh, she's it, or oh, no, she's out. But I'll just say, in my experience, it's good to stay at a job for a year, at least a year. Because it shows consistency, it shows discipline, and it shows commitment. If you start a job and 2 months later, 3 months later, 4 months later, you're out, it's like, that implies negative questions like, why did you leave? Did they ask you to leave? Did you leave because you didn't like it? And if you didn't like it, what makes you think that you're going to like the legal world? Or, things like that. So I would say a year. I have been at my job for a year now. I'm leaving in June, so it'll be a year and 2 months. And I truly feel like anything less than a year, you're opening yourself up for like the admissions council to have questions about it. And also keep in mind that there are some schools that will ask you to explain certain gaps in your employment on your resume. I discovered that when I was applying. I think Boston University or Boston College asks you to explain certain gaps. Be prepared. If you do have like wild gaps on your resume, you might have to explain that. So keep that in mind. And then finally, people always ask me, is working in the legal industry before law school a must? This is up for debate. If you ask somebody else, they might give you a different answer, but I'm gonna give you my answer. And that is, I don't think so. I really don't think so. Because I have heard and I have seen people work in retail, in the service industry, in so many other industries, and they go off to have amazing law school experiences. So I really don't feel like it is a must. Is it preferable? Probably. Probably, I'm not gonna lie. It might give you an edge, but I don't think it's a must. I really don't. It's really, as I said, it comes down to a well-rounded application. Especially if, there are people who go to law school in their 30s who have children, who have family that they have to support, who maybe they don't have a legal job, but they have another job. Maybe they experience something at that job. Maybe they experience discrimination. That is that, my friends. I hope that was helpful for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. Do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.